ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। In the previous class, we completed up to the 101st shloka, covering up to 949th nama, Bhima Parakramaha. And we will continue with the 102nd shloka in this class. Please repeat once after me. Adhara nilayo dhata पुष्पहासः प्रजागरः ऊर्ध्वगः सत्पथाचारः प्राणदः प्रणवः पणः। This 102nd shloka contains 9 namas beginning from 950 to 958. 950 Adhara Nilayaha. Adhara Nilayaha means the one who is the final abode of all supports. There are various supporters for this Jagat. This Jagat's immediate supporter is or are the Panchabhutas. The 5 elements are the ones that support this Jagat immediately, right? Immediate supporter. The 5 elements are supported by the subtle 5 elements. As per the Shastra, the 5 elements evolved in 2 stages. The first stage is the subtle stage and the second stage is the gross stage. And from the gross 5 elements alone, the gross universe evolved. So if you trace back, this universe is supported by this, gross universe is supported by the gross elements. And the gross elements are supported by the subtle elements. And who is the supporter of, and if you start going back, in that format, there is a text called Tattva Bodha, which will give you this tree. Maybe later on, after completing Vishnu Sahasranamam, and we have a group who is interested to listen to Tattva Bodha, we will take up Tattva Bodha also. Okay, so this will give you the tree as to how all things evolved from Maya Tattva. So the ultimate material cause, as we see, as we just spoke, is the Maya. And Maya, is it ultimate? No, it is also supported. Shastram says, Brahmashraya Maya. Maya is dependent for its existence on Param Brahma. Therefore, the one who is the ultimate supporter, the supporter of all supporters, is Param Brahma, Nirgunam Brahma, which is none other than Shriman Narayana in Vishnu Sahasranamam. Therefore, he is Adhara Nilayaha, the final supporter. 951. Adhatha. Adhatha. Now this nama or a variant or slightly related to this nama, we have already seen long time back as the 43rd nama. 43rd nama was Dhatha. Dhatha. There we saw in the 43rd nama that as the Anantanaga, the Adishesha, he supports the entire universe. And we saw this story sometime back in Mahabharatam where Brahmaji grants Adishesha the boon for his tapasya to be fit, to be the one to support the entire Jagat. And he, along with the help of Garuda, supports the entire Jagat. Therefore, Bhagavan in the form of Adishesha is the supporter, is the dhata of this universe. Now, here in 951, he is Adhata. This Adhata in 951 can be seen in two ways. The one who does not require any support, the one who is self-supported. Now, Adishesha supports the earth. And who supports Adishesha? You should not say Adishesha is the one who supports Vishnu, because Vishnu is reclining on Adishesha. Therefore, Adishesha is the one who supports Vishnu. Vishnu in his Chaturbuja form is as though supported by Adishesha. But the one who is the very existence of Adishesha is Param Brahma, who is none other than Bhagavan Narayana in Vishnu Sahasranamam. Therefore, Bhagavan Narayana, Sriman Narayana is referred to as Param Brahma. Therefore, Bhagavan is the ultimate supporter. Being the ultimate supporter, being the Adhara Nilayaha, he is Adhata. Adhata meaning there is no Dhata needed for him. He doesn't require a Dhata. He doesn't require a supporter for him. Therefore, we can otherwise say he is self-supported. The other way of looking at this Nama is from the root of the word Dhata. Det Pane is the root, which means to consume. Bhagavan, as though drinks all the beings, he just takes everybody into him at the time of Pralaya. Therefore, he is called Dhata. That way. So, these are the two ways in which this Nama can be looked upon. 952. Pushpahasaha. This is a very there's a lot of poetic imagination in this Nama. Now, Pushpahasa, when the flower blooms, when the flower is like a bud, in the bud form, in the bud stage, and then it blooms, the blossoming of the flower is taken to be the smile of the flower. You say the flower is smiling when it is fully blossomed, fresh and blossomed. Now, Bhagavan, these two stages of bud and fully blossomed flower is compared to the universe in the unmanifest stage and the fully manifested stage. So, the unmanifested form is compared to the bud of the flower, and the fully manifested world with all its glories is compared to the fully blossomed flower. So, this flower that has fully blossomed, this universe, this mighty universe, this blossomed flower is the smile, the full complete blossoming is the smile of the flower. So, Bhagavan, who has blossomed as this universe, this manifested universe is his smile. It is like a smile. Therefore, he is Pushpa Hasaha, smile of the flower, the smiling flower. 953. Prajagaraha. Prajagaraha means the one who is eternally awake, the one who is always awake. Who is that who is always awake, who doesn't go to sleep at all? Now, our minds have three stages. One is the fully awake, the waking state, which is called Jagrata Avastha. And then the fully dormant stage, which is called Sushupti Avastha, and there is an intermediate state where the mind is partially awake, which is called Swapna Avastha. These are the three states in which the mind switches over. So, the mind is fully awake, partially awake, and it fully goes to sleep. It is not available. But there is something which makes you tell after you wake up that you slept well, right? When the mind is totally dormant, which has totally resolved, what makes you, or what is that which witnesses and reports that it was a good sleep after you wake up in the morning or anytime you wake up? It is because the ever evident consciousness principle is eternally awake, and there is no time the consciousness goes off. There is no time that the consciousness is awake now and then the consciousness goes to sleep. There is no such time. This topic is also spoken by Yamadharma Raja in an Upanishad called Kathopanishad. There is a mantra that says, Yeshu Supteshu Jagrati Kamam Kamam Purusho Nirmimanaha. This Chaitanyam never comes under the spell of Maya. Sarve loka tasmin shruta tadu natyeti kaschana etat vaitat. The entire loka is supported by this consciousness principle. And Nachiketa understand that consciousness principle that supports this entire universe to be you, etad vaitat. It is nothing but you. Therefore, Bhagavan in his Nirguna Swarupa as the consciousness principle is ever awake, not only during the waking state but also when your mind is deep asleep. And it is this consciousness principle which has manifested as the entire universe. And the entire universe rests in it. And this is the ultimate consciousness which does not have a witness, another witness to it. There is nothing that exists beyond Chaitanyam. Tadu natyeti kaschana, Yamadharma Raja says, and etad vaitat, that Chaitanyam is you. Therefore, in this context, Bhagavan is called Prajagaraha, the one who is eternally awake. That is 953. 954. Urdvagaha. Urdvagaha. Acharya says, Sarvesham uparitishtan urdvagaha. Because Bhagavan stands above all, he is called Urdvagaha. How does he stand above all? As the cause, as the creator, he is above all. And also, as the Adi Guru, he is above all. Therefore, he is Urdvagaha. 955. Satpathacharaha. Satpatha refers to the way or the marga that is walked by, taken by all the Satpurushas. And Satpathacharaha, the one who walks the way taken by Satpurushas. The one who follows the marga of the Satpurushas. Or it can be, yes. Bhagavan is the one who has manifested as Dharma, and he is not only Dharma Swarupa, but he is also those who follow Dharma. Those who walk the path of Dharma. Therefore, he is called Satpathacharaha. 956. Pranadaha. This is one nama that appears totally for 4 times in Vishnu Sahasranamam. It occurs for 4 times, and this is the 4th time it is occurring. Very interesting. It occurred as the 65th Nama, then in 321, then 408, and now for the 4th time as 956. In the 65th Nama, Pranadaha, we saw Acharya says the meaning is in the 65th Nama, the one who gives prana, the one who cuts prana. 2 definitions he gave. And then in 321, he says Pranadaha means the one who is the giver of balam to suras and asuras, to all the devatas and to the asuras. Their balam is drawn from Bhagavan, the giver of strength. That was the meaning in 321. In 408, Pranadaha, the meaning was at the time of Srishti, Bhagavan enters the body and he enlivens the body, as though enters the body and enlivens all the bodies. Therefore, he is called Pranadaha. Now, what else is left to be given as the meaning in 956, where Bhishmacharya says it again for the 4th time? Now, the responsibility is on Bhagavad Pada to ensure that there is no Punarukti. Acharya says, Mritan Parikshit Prabhrithin Jivayan Pranadaha. He says in Mahabharata, when Ashwathama released an astra, a missile that destroyed the child in the womb of Uttara, who is the wife of Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu is gone, and his child was still a baby in the womb of his wife Uttara. And because of Ashwathama's missile, the child was dead in the womb. He killed the child in the womb. And to protect the Kurukula, to have, the next king has to come, right? Therefore, Bhagavan gave prana in his Krishna avatara. He gave prana to the child in the womb, and he brought him back to life. That is why he is called, that child is called, he was named Parikshit, who was the son of Abhimanyu. Therefore, Bhagavan is called Pranadaha in his Krishna avatara. 957. Pranavaha. Pranavaha is occurring for the 2nd time. The first time we saw was as the 409th Nama. There we saw the meaning is the one who is worshipped through Omkara. Therefore, Bhagavan is called Pranavaha. Here, in 957, the one who is in the form of Omkara itself. Not only that he is worshipped through Omkara, he is also the very Omkara. Pranava. When you say Pranava, it means new, or that which is always new. Nava means new. Pranavaha means always new. Patanjali in his Yoga Sutra, he says, Tasya Vachakaha Pranavaha. Bhagavan has a name which is the Pranava itself, which is Om. Om is the name of Bhagavan. Therefore, Bhagavan is both the meaning of Pranava and that which is indicated by Pranava. In 409, he was the one who is worshipped through Pranava. Therefore, he was indicated by Pranava. And here, he is Pranava itself. The very meaning of Pranava is Bhagavan. 958. Panaha. The one who does all the daily transactions. Purusha Sukta says, Sarvani Rupani Vichitya Dhiraha Namani Kritvabi Vadan Yadaste. So, Bhagavan, having created this universe, the various names and forms in this universe, he transacts through those names and forms in this universe. He transacts through them. Therefore, he is called Panaha. It is Bhagavan who is transacting through all the bodies, through all the names and forms. Therefore, he is called Panaha. That completes 102nd Nama. We move on to 103. Pramanam Prana Nilayaha Prana Brit Prana Jivanaha Tattvam Tattva Videkatma Janma Mrityu Jaratigaha. This shloka contains 8 namas starting from 959 to 966. 959, Pramanam. This is occurring for the second time in Vishnu Sahasranamam. The first time we saw as the 428th nama. There, Bhagavan was called Pramanam, and Acharya said the meaning of that nama in 428 is the one who is in the form of knowledge. Therefore, Bhagavan is called Pramanam. I'm not going to explain it here because we've already seen it as the 428th nama. Here in 959, Bhagavan is referred to as Pramanam. In what context? In what meaning? He is referred to as Pramanam, which is the self-evident witness consciousness. The self-effulgent or the self-shining, self-evident witness consciousness. Now, how does Pramanam mean self-evident consciousness? Okay, so to understand this, now Pramanam is generally used in the meaning of any instrument of knowledge or means of knowledge, that through which one gains knowledge is called the instrument, is called Pramana. Generally, in this transactional world, in this empirical world, for our transactions, daily transactions, worldly transactions, there are 5 means of knowing. 5 means of knowing. 5 means of knowledge means 5 pramanas, right? The first one is Pratyaksha Pramana. And this Pratyaksha itself is of 2 forms. Pratyaksha means direct perception. In simple terms, Pratyaksha means direct perception. And this direct perception, one can perceive in 2 ways. There is something that is known through the 5 senses, which is called Indriya Pratyaksham. For example, it's a little confusing. This color is, okay, you see it as a red or pink. I don't know, how do you see this in the camera? Dark pink, right? That is how I see it as. I hope it is the same dark pink in the camera also. Okay. So this flower is dark pink in color. And how did you conclude this is dark pink? Because you used your eyes and you see for yourself that this is dark pink, right? So to get the knowledge of this color, you had to use your senses. Through your senses, you gain the knowledge of the color, right? This is one example. Through your eyes. Similarly, when you gain the knowledge of the sound, the words that I am talking is heard by you and you receive the knowledge, right? Therefore, the knowledge, to gain the knowledge where you use your sense organs, your 5 sense organs, it is called Indriya Pratyaksha. We are talking about direct perception, which is of 2 types. The first type is Indriya Pratyaksha. The second type is called Sakshi Pratyaksha, where there is no use of sense organ at all and still you directly perceive, you gain the knowledge. There is no use of sense organ. Example, the emotions in your mind. Whenever you are angry, you're sorrowful, you're happy, the emotions in your mind are known to you without the use of any sense organ, directly known to you. Similarly, if you have been sitting for a long time in the same posture, you have a pain. You experience a pain in your back, in your knee, or you have a cramp in your leg. These are known to you through which indriya? No indriya is involved. This is also sakshi pratyaksham, which is a direct perception without the use of indriya. Okay. So direct perception is the first type. Now the other four pramanas are indirect perceptions. And the first of the four being anumana. Anumana pramana, to translate in English, the closest translation is inference. Inference. That is where I have already collected data through direct perception, and then I establish a cause-effect relationship, and then I experience the effect and I infer the cause, where the cause is not directly perceived. Example, wherever, this is the stock example given in the Shastra, okay? Wherever I have seen fire, I have experienced smoke along with it in my direct perception. For example, now we are going to have very soon, the Homa is going to start, okay? So this place, this classroom is going to become Yajnashala, right? Where the Yajna is performed, and you have this experience of both, the coexistence of both fire along with smoke. And then later on, you see a mountain which is smoky. You have not seen the fire, but you conclude that there is a fire. How? Because in your experience of direct perception, you have already collected the data of the coexistence of fire and smoke. So wherever there is fire, there will be smoke. Yes? No. No. Wherever there is smoke, there has to be fire. If there has to be smoke wherever there is Agni Tattva, then all of us should be smoking. I mean, at least. Because there is Agni Tattva in your body, right? So, the law that you understand, you draw out of your direct perception of the coexistence of fire and smoke is, wherever there is smoke, there is fire, right? So, now you did not see the fire, but you are seeing only the smoke. So you conclude, because I see the smoke, there has to be fire. This is called inference, okay? Let us not get too much into it, because this is a very big topic, and our idea is to cover the nama and not to delve into pramana. So this is called anumana pramana. Let's keep it simple. And then there is one more level. See, anumana, from pratyaksha to anumana, just one step is required and you infer fire, right? There is another pramana called arthapatti pramana, which also uses data collected from pratyaksha, from direct perception. Now this is one more than one step is involved to draw the conclusion. In English, you can roughly translate this as postulation or presumption, where more than a step you have to deduce and find out, arrive at the conclusion. Arthapatti. The stock example is, you wake up in the morning and you see water outside on the road, wet roads. Wet roads can be because of rains. It can also be because, typically in India, it can also be because of the water lorry which irresponsibly drove on the road without closing the tap, because of which the road got wet. Okay. Now, you looking at the road, you have pratyaksha, you have collected data of both raining and the roads getting wet, and you also have collected data of the water lorry wetting the roads, right? You have never seen or experienced the corporation people washing the roads like how it happens in Singapore, okay? So that is ruled out here. Now you wake up in the morning and you see wet roads. Now will you conclude it is because of the water lorry or it's because of the rain? Again, one more step is required. If it's only water lorry, then you have certain conditions. If it is rain, there are some more conditions, right? So there is a further step that is involved. Therefore, this is called arthapatti, postulation or presumption. Okay. Then the next one is anupalabdhi. Anupalabdhi, such a wonderful pramana. Here, just see the intelligence of our forefathers. This is one pramana which reveals the absence of things. To report absence of something, you need a pramana. Okay, for example, is there a lion in this hall? Lion. Is there a lion in this hall? No. Is there an ant in this hall? Huh? Did you see an ant? No, but your conclusion is maybe. Right? But if I ask you, if is there a lion in this hall? A sure shot answer comes. What? No, there is no lion. How did you know? Without seeing the lion itself, you say there is no lion. There is no possibility of lion. Or there is no possibility of elephant climbing one floor and getting into this hall. Okay, so anupalabdhi reports the absence of things. Then upamana. Upamana means illustration or example. And the stock example of this is where somebody has not seen bison, where somebody has not seen the bison, the wild animal in the zoo, and he asks you, how does a bison look like? And you are aware that he has seen a buffalo. So you say, have you seen buffalo? You know what a buffalo is. And the buffalo, little more bigger, little more wilder, bigger thorns, lot of hair on the body, very fierce looking. And you start, extending what he knows and you take him to what he doesn't know. Right? But these days, I think it should be the other way around, because people visit the zoo and they have seen the bison, but you don't get to see buffaloes only. Okay, especially the children of this generation. So you have to tell them, you saw the bison in the zoo. Shave off all the hair. Make the look, calm down the look. And even the horns, let the horns also be not so fierce and scary. So that is a buffalo. And smaller version. So, okay. So that is called upamana. Now all these four, Anumana, Arthapatti, Anupalabdhi and Upamana, these four are called indirect perception. And these four indirect perception we saw are from or using the data that is collected through the direct perception. So all these four depend upon the direct perception called Pratyaksha. Therefore, Pratyaksha is called as the Moola Pramana for all these four. Okay, this is where we had to arrive at. And now all these pramanas are known through what? Now, through pramana you gain the knowledge of this world. How is the pramana itself known? How are you? Take the case of your indriyas. How are you aware of your indriyas? The final pramana through which a pramana is known is the sakshi, the witness. Therefore, Bhagavan, as the sakshi, as the witness principle, is the pramana of all the pramanas. Anything you know through any means is also Bhagavan, and the very means through which you know is also Bhagavan, and that through which you get to know, because of which you are aware of the pramana, is also Bhagavan. Acharya says, Pramitihi Samvit Swayam Prabha Pramanam. Pramitihi means knowledge. Samvit Swayam Prabha means self-shining consciousness, which is the basis of every knowledge, without which no knowledge can happen. Therefore, Bhagavan is the self-shining consciousness without which no knowledge can even take place. the pramana of all the pramanas. Therefore, Bhagavan is called Pramanam. 960. Prana Nilayaha. Prana Nilayaha means the resting place of all the pranas. And this can be seen in 4 ways as presented by Bhagavad Pada. Now we think that Jiva is alive, therefore dependent on the prana that he breathes. So you breathe, you are alive. You don't breathe, you are not alive. Therefore, Jiva is dependent on the prana to survive. This is what we generally think. But here it is said that the pranas are in fact dependent on Jiva. It is because the Jiva indwells this body that prana functions. And who is Jiva? Jiva is none other than Ishvara himself, Bhagavan himself. Therefore, as the Jiva, because of whom the prana itself functions in the body, Bhagavan is called Prana Nilayaha. And prana here will refer to the Indriyas and the Pancha Pranas, which all of them, this entire group of Pancha Pranas and Indriya rest in Jiva. They are dependent on Jiva. Therefore, Bhagavan as the Jiva is called Prana Nilayaha. The second meaning is that prana is that which enlivens every body. Right? Every body is alive because of prana. Because of the manifestation of Bhagavan in the body, there is life. And therefore, the prana that enlivens the body merges with Bhagavan. Right? Bhagavan enlivens the body as Jiva, and the prana functions in the body. Therefore, the prana is said to be merged with the Jiva, which is none other than Bhagavan. Therefore, Bhagavan is called Prana Nilayaha because all pranas merge into him. The third way of looking at this nama is because, in the ordinary meaning of Jiva, okay, because the Jiva breathes, the Jiva himself is called Pranaha. And at sleep, at deep sleep state, Jiva merges with the Paratma. And therefore, the Paratma is called Prana Nilayaha because the Jiva, who is otherwise called Prana, merges with him at deep sleep state. Therefore, he is called Bhagavan as Paratma is called Prana Nilayaha. And the fourth way of looking at this nama is at the time of Pralaya, Bhagavan destroys all the pranas, all the individual jivas are gone. Gone meaning where do they go? They resolve into Bhagavan at the time of Pralaya. Therefore, he is called Prana Nilayaha. 961. Prana Bhrith, the sustainer of prana. Therefore, Bhagavan is called Prana Bhrith. 962. Prana Jivanaha, the one who enlivens all living beings. He is the one who keeps everything alive, who keeps us alive. We think prana keeps us alive, right? We think because prana is, coming in and going out, we are alive. It is Bhagavan who ensures that you breathe. Therefore, Bhagavan is the one who keeps us alive. That is why in every living being, every living being is enlivened by Bhagavan, and it is Bhagavan because of whom there is life principle everywhere, wherever you experience life principle. That is why it is said, Ahimsa Paramo Dharmaha, don't kill any life. Now we are talking about the niyama, okay? The rule is Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. There is an exception. Dharma Himsa Tataivacha. We are not talking of the Apavada. Apavada is the exception. This is not the context for the Apavada. Here this is the context of talking the rule. Therefore, we stop with Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. Okay? That is why before killing anything, one has to reconsider, because what you are killing is life, and every life that you intend to take off, it can be a small insect, but you intend to take off, is the blessing of Bhagavan, right? 963, Tattvam. Tattvam means the truth of everything. Acharya says, Tasya bhavaha tattvam. He says this in Bhagavad Gita Bhashyam. The Bhashyam on the shloka Nasato Vidyate Bhavaha, as the conclusion, he says, Tasya bhavaha tattvam, which means tattvam, the meaning of tattvam. If you have to literally give the meaning of tattvam, tat means that, and you say tattvam. See, when you say manushya and you say manushyatvam, okay, manushya means human, manushyatvam is humanness, right? So similarly, when you say tat, it means that, and when you say tattvam, it is thatness. Now, what is thatness? Acharya says that or tat is a pronoun, right? And a pronoun is called Sarvanama Shabdaha in Sanskritam. That noun that is used to refer everything, Sarvanama Shabdaha. Therefore, when you say that, it can refer to everything. That vastu, which is everything. The reality of that vastu is Bhagavan or Brahman. Therefore, Bhagavan is called Tattvam. 964, Tattvavit. He is not only the reality, but also the knower of the reality or the truth. Bhagavan knows that he is Param Brahma. Therefore, he is Tattvavit. 965, Ekatma. Acharya says, Ekascha asau atma cheti ekatma. The one self of all. The one self of all. There is no many selves. There are no many atmas. It is non-dual one, non-dually one. Because when we say one, it does not, normally when we say one, when we count one, it presupposes 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So here, when the Shastra says Ekatma, no, it is not like Ekam, Dve, Trini, Chatvari. No, it is not one in the series. Okay. It is one means it is non-dually one. There is no second entity. Aitareya Upanishad, when it talks of the evolution of the Srishti, it says, Atma va idam eka eva agra asit. Eka eva. It was non-dually one, which is Bhagavan. 966. Janma mrityu jaratigaha. He is the one who is not subject to Janma, birth, Mrityu, death, Jara. Jara literally means decay. Okay, disease or decay. So these are indicators of the 6 forms of modifications. Upalakshana for Shadvikara. The one who enables the 6 modification, which runs the Srishti, cannot be caught into the 6 forms of modification. He should be the one who transcends the changes, and therefore Bhagavan is the one who does not undergo any change. Because we have seen that Bhagavan is outside the limitations of time, and only that which is within the limitation of time falls under the 6 forms of modification. Therefore, Bhagavan, who is the formless consciousness principle, is not subject to any change. So that completes the 103rd Nama. And today I propose to stop with this. We could have done one more, but still I propose to stop with this because we have a Ganapati Homa arranged. And I thought it would be apt to actually take the next shloka where Bhagavan is referred to as Yajna. And in fact, from the, from 971st Nama, which will come in the next shloka, until 984, about 15 Namas, Bhagavan is described as different aspects of the Yajna itself. So it is very, very nice every aspect of Yajna is Bhagavan. He is the very Yajna, he is the Yajamana, he is the Dakshina, he is the Homa, he is the Dravya, he is the Agni, he is the Ahuti, and he is also the Devata who is worshipped through the Yajna. And what about the result that comes to the Yajamana? That is also Bhagavan himself. So, like this, Vishnu Sahasranama is going to explain a set of 15 namas starting from 971 to 984, Bhagavan being different aspects of Yajna. And why does it talk about Yajna? What is my relevance when it is spoken about Yajna? Because the entire life is said to be Yajna. Where Bhagavan is, referred to as different aspects of Yajna, where we say different aspects of Yajna are not different from Bhagavan. Similarly, my entire life has to be filled with Bhagavan. It is not that I fill it with Bhagavan. I have to take cognizance that it is already filled with Bhagavan. So with that note, on this Mahashivratri today, we will conclude this class and we will have our next class as per the regular schedule next week. That will be the class where we will be finishing. We should be finishing up to the 108th shloka, which will complete the main body of the text. And then we will just have the Palashruti part alone, which we'll take up in the subsequent classes. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Mahashivratri wishes to all of you. Hari Om.